Welcome to Simply Excel. In this video we're going to take a quick look at the XLOOKUP function and go through some worked examples of how you might use it. XLOOKUP is the new and updated version of VLOOKUP, and where VLOOKUP was maybe quite restrictive in how you could use it, XLOOKUP gives you a lot more flexibility. Firstly, let's take a look at how the formula is constructed. I'm just going to type in equals XLOOKUP and open my brackets, and you'll see the parameters that we can pass to this function. The first thing we pass it is the lookup value. So that's the value we want to find in our data. The second parameter is our lookup array, so that's going to be the array of data or the range of data in which we want to look for that value. Then we have the return array, so that's the data we want to return when we find a match for the data that we've looked up. Then we have three optional parameters on the end. We can specify what to display, so that could be a piece of text or a default value if the match isn't found. And we can alter the match mode and the search mode. For the purposes of this tutorial, I'm not going to look at match mode and search mode, other than to say that match mode, if you don't specify it, will default to an exact match. Let's start building our XLOOKUP then to find our member name based on a membership number. First thing we're going to specify is our lookup value, and we're going to type the member number into box A3, so I'm just going to pop that cell reference in by clicking in that cell. Type a comma to move on to our next parameter, and that's our lookup array. So we're looking up our member number in our member number column. We'll click on the top one of those and then do Control, Shift and down arrow, select all the data in that column. My return array is going to be my member name. So again, clicking the first value and Control, Shift and down to select all of those. And then I'm just going to say, if we don't find a match, member not found. Close my brackets and press return. You'll see at the moment, because we haven't specified a member number, we've got our default member not found. But if we type in a member number, we get the name back. If we type in a member number that doesn't exist, again we get our member not found. One really nice feature of XLOOKUP is you can return multiple values in one lookup, which is something you weren't able to do in VLOOKUP. I've just extended our member search area to include the membership expiry date, and we're now going to extend our XLOOKUP to return that value as well. I'm going to click in our XLOOKUP, and where we specified our return array, I'm just going to click on the bottom right hand corner of that and drag it across to incorporate that membership expiry column. So if you're doing this from scratch, you could just highlight your whole data area. Press return, and then as soon as we specify a valid member, we get their name and their expiry date. Another really nice thing you can do with XLOOKUP is you can nest multiple lookups. For example, if we looked for our gross profit as one lookup and our quarter as another lookup, we can return the intersection between those two values. So let's take a look at how that works. In my gross profit box, I'm going to type equals XLOOKUP, and the first thing I'm going to look for are the words gross profit in my row headers. So I'm going to click on gross profit, comma, my lookup array is going to be my row headers, so I'll highlight all of those, and then my return array is going to be the value that I find by looking up by quarter. So I'm going to nest another XLOOKUP in here. This time I'm going to specify the quarter, which I can type into box B3. My lookup array is going to be my column headers this time, so I'll highlight those. My return array again is going to be all our financial data, so I'll highlight that whole area again. Close both sets of brackets, press return, and we've now got our gross profit, which is the intersection between our lookup for our quarter for Q1 and our lookup for gross profit. If I wanted to copy this formula across to the net earnings box, I can click and drag, but let's look at what that's done to the formula. So if I click in there and go to edit the formula, and you can see that's shifted all our cell references one cell to the right because I've moved the formula one cell to the right. In order to get around this, I'm just going to undo that copy, come into my original gross profit lookup, and we're going to fix some of these cell references so they don't move when we copy the formula. The first cell reference we've got is for our gross profit. Now that one's fine if it moves one to the right because that will become looking for net earnings. Then we've got our lookup array. Now we still want that to be our row headers. So in there I'm just going to use my F4 key to lock both the row and column reference, and again in the A16 we're going to lock that as well. In our nested lookup we then still want to look for quarter that we've specified in cell B3, so we're going to lock that, again pressing F4, and we're going to look all the rest of the references in this lookup because we want to look at the same column headers and return the same array of data. So just run through those quickly, F4 on each of those, and press return. We haven't affected the functionality of our gross profit formula by doing that, but now when we copy it across to the right, we actually get a value based on the quarter that we've put in, and both of those will update if we change this quarter. I hope you found this quick introduction to XLOOKUP and the worked examples useful. Please like and subscribe to my channel for more Excel tips. Thanks for watching.